Hello, this is Rocque of King Diamond, and you're listening to Heavy Demons.
Okay, dear Andy, what can you tell us about this amazing tour, the Abigail tour in the US?
All right, what can I tell you about that? The idea about that came up, I guess, around Christmas, if I remember right. We just thought we need to do something a little different for the fans, and people's been, asking and talking about, hey, why don't you guys do like a full concept concert with the Abigail, And I guess, we started to listening to that, and well, it's gonna happen this fall, that's for sure. We're gonna do a few songs, like kind of picking out a few songs King Diamond from different albums first,
Mhm.
and then we're also gonna play a few Merciful Fate songs, and then we do the whole Abigail album from start to end at the second half of the live set.
And I mean, may we dream to see this happen in Europe as well?
Oh yeah, we're working on that. Exactly when it's going to happen and where it's going to happen, I don't know yet. But it's under progress. So we're definitely working on that. Of course, we want to show the European fans that too. It's just that when we started touring in the U.S. Last October, we didn't go to U.S. for I believe 9 years or something crazy like that. So we had to do a thing there, and then the interest were growing big, so we got asked to do this Mayhem festival with Slayer and Hell Yeah, for example, too. So we just thought we need to do that, and then the follow up with the Abigail this fall, also very important, of course, But I promise you that the European fans will see us. That's for sure.
Yeah, deal, that's amazing. And which are the plans for the forthcoming album?
Um, since the Mayhem Fest came in between here, um, we got a little interrupted, but the plan now is that we're going to start to write songs after Christmas. And then how long it takes to write the songs for the next album, we don't know. It's impossible to say, of course, But as soon as that's done, we're going to start with the recording. So hopefully, sometimes, next year or whatever it takes to make the album, But the plan is that we're starting write songs after Christmas.
Yeah.
So early 2016.
And do you find any differences between, being part of the King Diamond project nowadays and like back in the 80s?
Oh yeah, it's quite different, Back in the 80s, I mean, the whole scene was a little different, I believe, but what you can tell now is that after 30 years, because it's 30 years since I joined the band, uh, it seems like people have a lot of respect for us, when we come out on stage, because I mean, we've been there for like 30 years and we're going through a lot of, hard times, too, with King's illness and
Yeah.
everything that happened there, So when you come back out on stage now, it's like, wow, these guys are still there, So there's a lot of, I mean, I think the fans meet us with a lot of respect, and they always did, of course, but it's quite different when you've been there for like 30 years, and you see also a new generation of people, watching us live. And I mean, right now we're playing, bigger stages, bigger places, and that's also, of course, a big difference from the early 80s, when we started out, when we played very small clubs sometimes, bigger places sometimes too, but that's also a good difference, I think.
Yeah, and speaking about differences, uh, which differences do you find between like the American audience and the European ones?
Um, I don't know if there is a big difference between the fans in that sense, some places are a little more crazy than others, but you can find places in the US that, where the fans are a little more crazy too. So I think in general, we have a very good crowd,
Yeah, and how is it for you like to record and to compose music for concept albums in comparison to like normal collection of songs on an album? Is it like more difficult?
Well, the only more difficult thing is that, it's you have to be very careful about, the moods and the atmosphere on the songs. So it's more theatrical, you work more theatrical in a way, and more dynamic, I think, when you working with a concept album, because it's like putting a theater show kind of thing in music.
Yeah.
So it is quite a difference, because you can't just put the songs in a random order. All the songs have to be in a very specific order and have to follow a specific uh, the atmosphere to work the best with the lyrics, because that's of course very, very important, to play and follow what the lyrics are telling you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, of course, because it's something more related, like to a musical, for instance, instead than a normal gig and a normal album.
Oh yeah, and you can, I mean, on a normal album, you can put the songs around the way you want it, pretty much, But I mean, you can't do that once you start writing a concept album. The songs has to be in a specific order to create a special atmosphere and mood.
Yeah, there's a precise like developing of the thing, of the whole thing.
Yes,
Yeah. And how is this new King Diamond lineup working?
I would say it's working out very, very good. The latest member we have is Pontus
Yeah.
Egberg, who used to be in a band called Lion's Share and also a band called Poodles. And he's been doing some stand-in work for Hammerfall, for example,
Hmm.
and he's just an amazing bass player and a very good friend too. So it works out very, very well. He's been with us now for just a little more than a year, and we're all very happy for that.
Yeah, and how is King? How is his health?
Oh yeah, he's very, very good now. I mean, since he got his surgery and all that back in 2009, I believe it was. I mean, he's he's much more healthier than he's ever been before. He quit smoking, eats healthy, exercising, and all that. So I mean, he's doing very, very good, and I think his voice is better than ever.
Yeah, and what can you tell us about your activity as a producer?
Well, we just got back from the tour just a week and a half ago, and we're going back on tour in about 8 weeks. So during this period, I'm not going to do too much in the studio. Actually, I just have a few small things to do, but I have to focus and concentrate on the next coming tour, which contains some new songs that we haven't played in a very, very long time. From the Abigail album, for example, and also a few other new songs in the set list that I can't really tell you about that yet,
Yeah, of
but
course.
you'll see that. But there's a lot of preparations, because the set itself, the live set's going to be changed a little bit, and there's a lot of things to take care of, before we walk out on stage. That's for sure, So, but pretty much I've been until. I mean, the 2 weeks before we went on the US tour, I was fully booked in the studio with different projects, And the last thing I did in the studio was actually a Croatian guy, or a former Yugoslavian guy
Yeah,
called Sele.
that's interesting
Uh,
because there's quite a good scene out there.
yeah, and he's been around forever. He started in the early '80s or late '70s. And he's a amazing guitarist, and it's quite different music style that I'm used to work with. But I mixed a few songs of his, and it turned out really good. So he's coming back in September for the final mix, I believe.
Yeah, it's amazing. And have you got any dream you would like to fulfill either with King Diamond or outside the project as Angela Rock?
Uh, I'm so busy with King Diamond,
Yeah.
actually. So I don't really have time with other stuff. But oh, it's really hard to say. There's a lot of bands I would like to work with. Or as a musician, or maybe produce in the studio. But maybe in the future when I have more time, if there is more time. Right now this King Diamond is like 100%.
Yeah. And what do you recall about working with Chuck Schuldiner and Death many years ago?
Oh yeah, that was 22 years ago,
My
and
goodness.
yeah, man, time just flies. That was early 1993, I believe. I think I was there in maybe February or March or something like that. And people were saying that, oh man, Chuck, he's really hard to work with, and he's a little bit strange and all that. But I met him before, and we talked a little bit, and I never ever had a problem with him. I mean, it was like a mutual respect. I respect him for what he's doing, and he was a King Diamond fan. So why should there be a problem? Really. So I was there for about 10, 12 days, and helped him out with some solos. And everything worked out really, really good. I think. So we just had a good time. I really enjoyed it, and he was a great guy.
Yeah. So one like final message greeting to the Italian fans of King Diamond and Andy LaRocque.
I really hope that you guys will see us down there soon. When uh, and where, I don't know yet, but you will see us, that's for sure.